Alright guys, we are on a roll today. The Fremen video is out. This is Dune Spice Wars, the only guide you're going to need to be a Grandmaster Dune Spice Wars player. Cream the legend, the champ. So today's video is the art of politics and late game mastery. For late game mastery, I'm going to run you through some late game scenarios. I'm going to point out to you the things that you're going to need to position yourself in the late game to be able to win the game. The late game looks very different for the factions, and we'll get into that. But for the art of politics, it's really more of a diatribe. I don't have any footage of anything, or I don't want to say anything about any player in this video. It's just more of like my years of experience of playing this game and what I've learned in the art of politics, because Dune Spice Wars is a very political game. So the manner in which you politic severely affects the outcome of the game, okay? Because it creates an opinion of you as a player in that game, and hopefully you're playing with people that can separate their opinion of you as a person, because it's a very personal game. You're just playing the game for what it is, like a game of Dune Spice Wars. So let's just assume everybody's playing the game in good faith and there's no trolling going on, okay? The first thing that you have to understand about Dune Spice Wars is, one, it's a political game. So if it's a political game, all of your communication amongst the other participants in the game is incredibly important, because at some point you will go from being enemies back to allies, then back to enemies, then back to allies, and the scale is going to seesaw throughout the entire game as people put win conditions on the board, and those need to be contested. So the champ's approach to politicking is a very scientific approach, and let me explain why. First of all chat. Very few things need to be said in all chat. Okay, unless you're having a vibe session game where you're playing with your boys and everybody's gaslighting each other and saying a bunch of like BS in the chat. When you're playing the game at the highest level, you don't use the all chat except for one thing. The all chat should be used to point out win conditions that the lobby can unanimously agree on is the most pressing and direct problem at the moment that it's said. Okay? That's when you all chat. If you start writing things in the all chat and being a complete dick in the all chat about, like pointing out things like, oh, somebody has X amount of chom, or this guy's capping this or this and that, like, and you're gonna be trying to like rally people in the all chat to something that's not a true and pressing, urgent win condition that needs to be stopped, people don't look favorably upon that at the highest level, because it just feels like either A, you're gaslighting, B, you're trolling, or C, you're underestimating the intelligence of your opponents, which can be viewed as insulting. So the all chat, just be careful with the all chat. You don't want to rub anybody wrong. Again, Dune Spice Wars, extremely political game. You don't want to rub anybody wrong, the wrong way in the all chat when you're playing this game at the highest level. Now, if you're playing with your boys, having a vibe sesh, everybody's saying a bunch of crap in the all chat and the voice chat, whatever. This doesn't apply. I'm just saying, if you're playing the game in a tournament, you're trying to win, you're grinding lobbies, you're trying to get better. This is how you approach the all chat. Two, the DMs. The DMs is where the politicking is done. Okay, and it's not just like, you're not just gonna message somebody like, yo, let's hit this guy, right? You have to approach the situation from your perspective and their perspective. What you need to do in the DMs is you need to propose things that are mutually beneficial at the time they're being proposed, right? Because if you're at 19K each and this guy's at 37 chom, and you're gonna write to your neighbor and be like, yo, this guy's at 37 chom, we gotta hit him. We gotta liberate some spice fields, destroy some harvesters, pillage and possibly base kill him. That's mutually beneficial to the two participants involved. But if you're at 27K with spice tax about to hit, and you're writing somebody about some aspect of the game that is irrelevant to the most pressing win condition on the board, that might motivate the player to do some things that's not so favorable to you because it might feel like you're insulting them. So the art of politicking in the DM is whatever you're proposing, you have to do it at the right time, and the other player has to see a net benefit for it, and it has to benefit you because ultimately everything you're doing is to advance your win conditions. Okay. Um, the thing about gaslighting is a part of the game, and um, I'm not gonna say I don't gaslight, but I try to avoid it the best I can because when let's just say I'm at like 24K and somebody writes in the all chat, yo, Fremen is approaching 24K because they know I'm getting to that window where I'm gonna be able to close out the game. I tend to respond with, okay, but this guy has this, or he's sitting on three back caps. He's just trying to make me the target. So I don't necessarily think that that's gaslighting, but I think that you want to counter argue something until it becomes so obvious that you have to be targeted that there just can be no arguments made. If you think that's gaslighting, it might be, but you do have to kind of unless you're just gonna straight up hit the gas pedal in 3v1, like I'm gonna show you like one of these games, like as Carino, you can't do that. As Atreides, you can't do that. Hark, you can kind of do that. Uh, you're gonna have to want to be a little bit more coy about the way in which you go winning this game. And that's the thing with Dune Spice Wars. You can't just straight up win the game on mechanics. You have to win it on a combination of knowing what you're doing, politicking well, and executing at the highest level in the final stage of the game, right? For like, because this is the focus of this next part of the video is gonna be late game mastery. So just be careful with your communication. Don't insult the people that you're playing with, especially if you're playing with like people that know how to play the game. If you're playing pub lobbies with noobs, it's kind of easy to get away with like writing things in the all chat and directing everybody to go kind of like do what you say, and then meanwhile you're scheming over here to do what it is you want to do. So just understand this, guys. The art of politicking is an art, and when you do it correctly, people will naturally want to go along with your plans because you're presenting something to them that is appealing to them as well as yourself. If you're saying a bunch of nonsense in the chat or in the DMs, people will look at you as somebody who should not be listened to, and they might even call you out for it and might even not want to play games with you because from experience, I'm just telling you, after dealing with it for X amount of games in a game that takes 2 hours to complete, it's a heavy time investment. You just get tired of it and you just want to avoid people in general. And what I'm saying, why I'm telling you guys this, is because it's a small community. So the purpose of this video is not to slander anybody. The purpose of this video is to encourage people to play a game in a manner of which it's enjoyable for everybody to play. And you'll know when you played a good game of Dune Spice Wars. There was betrayal, there was alliances. This guy had to be knocked down a peg. This guy had to be whatever. Like, and everybody was agreeing at the time that it was the right thing to do. And then at the end, I mean, somebody has to win at the end, and that's just what happens. And it's part of the game, and it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. I do have to admit, it's a lot of fun. Okay, late game mastery. Let's go to late game mastery. So um, the first example is going to be Carino. Carino is one of those factions that can front run pretty easily. So here and let's just look at the checklist of the things that I have going into the late game. I have a lot of Solari, a lot. This was one of those rare games where the spice exchange rate was really high. I was able to bank a lot of Solari. I've got a nuke ready, okay, or at least I'm about to cook it, right? So Solari check, Chom shares check, nuke check, Intel 1K Intel banked, and you can't see it on the screen, but I have all of my missions ready to go. Maybe if I like shift this over here slightly, boom, right there it is. I have all my missions ready to go, right? And the most important of which, of course, is orbital and decoy thumper. Admin burden is a plus, it's not mandatory. So let's get into it. So I have to defend a 3v1 right now once these guys figure out that I'm about to close the game because I'm cooking 49 passive. It's not a massive number, but it's not tiny either. So I'm inching toward the end of the game. I've got all the tools that I need. I'm looking good. Um, and so they're going to start pressing me pretty soon here. And once they start pressing me, I have to use all my tools to delay them from stopping my inevitable win as much as I can. With Carino, it's a little easier to do than I think anybody else. I think Carino is the best at 3v1, especially if you have artillery drones that can fight underneath bunkers that are really hard to get to because the terrain is favoring you and you set up your bunkers. Yeah, really good. So let's just get to the juicy parts here. I try to, whenever, in my approach to the late game is whenever there's resolutions like this one, I'm trying to get the units because the units are going to help me turn any fights that inevitably I'm going to have to fight because I'm in the lead. So so I have Atreides on my west in the north, and then I'm going to have Ekaz and Smuggler hit me to the south. So I hit the slider. I'm buying Chom. I'm not really trying to win on Chom, even though I have 43%. This is just making my army super strong. So I drop an orbital. I'm using drones to the left up there, and I drop an orbital on ECAS. Now you know this is a good lobby when the orbital that you dropped on ECAS is being canceled out by Smuggler. Like that's a heads up play. I respect it. I dig it. So I have to take this fight straight up, and I don't have my drones, right? So we're gonna watch this in real time. He's got his monument there. It's making it tricky. Now I can do one of two things. I'm already rebuilding my orbital, right? And I have 33 intel cooking daily. You need to have good intel production for the late game because you have to be able to afford your 500 cost operations, whether you're Atreides with a ceasefire, whether you're Carino with a orbital. You have to afford these multiple times. With Carino, if you're a Fenrir, you kind of steal intel from the map, and you're going to see me doing that. So I'm Ekaz pulls out because he was low on supply or something happened where he was forced to pull out. And I'm using my artillery drones to clean up those units. Now he's going to come back in with his full stack, and Smuggler's going to join him, and I'm recooking my orbital. I don't want to take heads up fights. I admin bird an ECAS because he lost some units. I don't want, and I drop another orbital on him. Okay, so this whole time I'm being pressed by ECAS and I'm using my operations, and now I have, after using two orbitals, I still have 500 intel in the bank. So I'm gonna at some point remake my orbital. So I fend off ECAS once, right? Now this time, Atreides is about to capture this special off of me. I can't have that, so I have to nuke this. Okay, I have to nuke this. Now this game happened a while ago. We kind of have advanced the way in which we approach nukes. You usually before you would kind of want to stall to see if you can like not have to use the nuke and just save it for a last resort. In my opinion, that's out because at the tippity top, players are going to run out of the circle, but they're going to leave one unit in there, and then that unit will die when the nuke hits, and then they'll start running units back in so that the capture flag doesn't go away and the village never becomes devastated, and you can continue to capture the village. So in this case, this is a little bit of an outdated example, but it still serves a purpose, right? I drop a nuke. This is really what nukes are used for. They're used as deterrents for capturing villages, and or if you're really slick with it, you can drop a nuke on somebody who just airfielded their army as it's flying into a region. So I stop his capture, and I'm rebuilding. I think I'm gonna sell. So I have a lot of chom. What you want to do when you drop a nuke is you want to start remaking the nuke as soon as possible. That way you can use it again, right? So if for Carino, orbitals and nukes are their largest deterrents. For Hark, it's vapors, nukes, and sleeper agents. For ECAS, they have a lack of fog, but that's a really, really dangerous operation to throw in case you screw up. And so I drop an offensive orbital here, and I'm pushing. I would like him off this tile because this tile is he's got too many units, turrets and units that he can spawn at this tile with an airfield. So I'm pushing him off this tile. These guys are still rebuilding down here, and I sell Chome. Right there is the move. I sell Chome, and right now I'm looking for intel on the map. I have fenring, so I have some in my own territory, and I'm trying to get another orbital. Like I'm constantly trying to rebuild my operations, and I'm getting my nukes out, and I'm making sure that I have 65 CP, right? So I fend off the Atreides. I'm not able to liberate the tile there. In this case, I have. This is one of those cases where I'm just relying on my passive to take me over. So this isn't one of those cases where I'm using a couple of blank regions to spike and win. This also allowed me to kind of just like fly under the radar because I was always able to say I don't have any territories left to capture. I don't have any territories left to capture, which is all true. But Smugglers is right there. He's only like 2, 3 tiles away, and he's got plenty of blank regions. And I don't know what the Atreides hedge is, but I'm assuming it's he's a good player, so it's not too far behind. So now I have to fight. So Atreides wins Gov. Now I have to fight this in a 2v1. Okay, so I have drones. I'm so close to orbital, but I don't have it, right? So what do I do here? So I keep my artillery drones in the back. The lag was terrible there. Load poses, and then so now the smuggler army and the ECAS army is taking me to town. I do have the luxury of no stealth free company on my drones, which is kind of nice. I sell some chome because I had a lot, and now I know I'm gonna lose this fight, right? So I start spawning in mercenaries. One of the delay tactics that you can do in the late game is one of the purposes of acquiring chome is to sell it late game for a lot of Solari, provided that you're not handing the win to somebody else by doing so. So I'm able to turn the fight by spawning in a bunch of mercs, which got nerfed heavily in a patch or two ago, but they're still useful for this scenario. Okay, so ECAS was out of supply. He didn't have a supply drop. He runs out, and I'm just, and they're not good units. You can see they die very easily. And now he's gonna get on my artillery drones, which isn't good. So I have to run them back, and I'm just stalling. I need tax to hit. I'm making 51 a day, and tax looks like it's in about 9 days. So if we do the math, you have to have the math in your head. If I'm making well, now it's 37 because I'm assuming somebody killed one of my crafts workshops, right? So tax is 1200 with research center, so that'll put me at 29.3, and then I need about 18 days to survive uh, with uh, with my passive. So he's destroying my passive up top. You got to be careful where you place your passive. I don't have any specials that I can kind of hide it in. It was either here or in Sandfall up north, and there was no good option. So I nuke him again. So that buys me another 4 days. This time I did it early enough so he can't possibly let the capture flag run down with one unit in there and then run another unit in there as it dies. So he's trying. You see, he's trying to do that now, but because I nuked it early, did he get it in there? He does get it in there. Okay, so this is going to be interesting how I fight this off. Um, okay, so he's capturing. If I lose that territory, I mean it's GG for me. So I'm making another nuke. I sold more chome and I'm making another nuke. I fight these guys off the south with an orbital now, and I'm looking for intel around the map, and I'm making another nuke, and I'm recruiting into the village outside of Sandfall so that I can defend Sandfall because it's critical to my win condition, right? So I have like this was one of those games where I got to buy a lot of Chome because I had 40% at the end. The only reason I had that was to sell it to buy Mercs, and here I go. I'm spamming Mercs and I'm selling Chome and I'm spamming Mercs and I have my Chronos as an airfield there to get them in as soon as possible, and I'm trying to get in as many as I can, and they come out stealth so they can't be seen unless there's stealth detection. But I get some hammers in there. He throws an EMP in there. I sell more chome. I'm trying to spam more mercs, and I have some units sitting over there, and I start running them in, and I'm targeting his support drones. I need those out first, and I'm spamming more mercs. And the thing with mercs is they spawn it almost instantaneously, and I see that the ECAS is capturing my other special, so I'm really being pressed here, and I have to execute this all in real time. I have to defend two regions. I have to outrace his gov. I have to make my passive back somewhere somehow because I'm only at 37. I build an assassin just to get like just to hit hit something in there just to get something out of the map. But eventually eventually you're gonna run out of you're gonna run out of money and you're not gonna be able to merc spam. And but that one drone in the corner is doing so much work over there. And also because I'm in Pariah because I threw a couple of nukes, my Landsrat standings in the pits, so these guys are killing my main base. Now, luckily for me, and this is something you have to keep an eye out, I got a quest here that's an easy to complete quest for 300 hedge. So as soon as I hit 29-7, boom, I can just hit that quest and I get the dub. And that is just defending a 3v1 using everything I have, all my resources, chome, intel, nukes, army, everything I have for the dub. That's one example of late game mastery. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Here's a Fremen example. Okay, this is a hedge race between Smuggler and I. And this is one of those situations where I saved the pocket special in the back for the end. Everybody sees this, by the way. Everybody knows that, he even points out. This is one of those things where the smuggler guy is writing, "Hey, Fremen has a special in the back." That's good use of the all chat because he's absolutely correct. Like everybody needs to know that I have not only do I have a siege tile to capture, that I'm getting rid of the renegade base here, but I have a blank region east of my main, and I have a special to cap, and I have 400 authority in the bank. So what I'm doing here is I'm using thumpers on the north side of the map to keep them off my tiles. These two tiles right here are bunkered pretty good. These tiles right here are bunkered pretty good. And I'm starting to make my move. It's at 24.9. Tax hits in 18 days, and I'm cooking 37. Okay? So I'm starting to make my move. That tile is way too expensive to capture, and I realize that. And you have to be careful. So what I do is I stop capturing it because that tile was still under the pillage debuff because I was pillaging that tile all game long. So I'm continuing to spam decoy thumpers. The smuggler player is like, yo, we gotta go. He's absolutely correct. He wants to make an alliance with ECAS here. Now this is like exactly what you want to do in a game because in this game, I do remember this game, they were at odds all game long and then they realized that okay, it's time to go. Now fortunately for me, the Harkonnen player needed something to do something in this game, and I think ECAS was like trying to chome. I think he's at like 39, and he starts fighting with ECAS, so that leaves me versus Smuggler, which is a nice matchup for me. So I worm over to the Worm's Nest, and I'm getting rid of this Renegade base because I need this out of there. I'm not necessarily trying to capture this, even though I might because I have 500 authority, but I definitely need that Renegade base out of there. So I capture it right away. I leave one unit for the capture. I notice I don't sit my whole army there while the base is capturing. I don't need to do that. Then I am going to capture this tile here on the west. And now as this is all happening, I'm going to move my army looking for another village to capture that's not the one east of my main. I try to go over there, but no, it's a sanctuary. I can't. Sanctuaries are not capturable. So that leaves me with only one option. I'm at 27.5. Okay, 27.5. Tax is about, I would say, 8 to 9 days away. I get over here and I'm trying to get on this village. I'm having a unit on this village. I capture this village. Now the amazing thing is, guys, they put water regs. You have to be aware of this stuff, okay? So they put water regs on. You see how the authority is plus 12 and it goes to minus 3? Water regs is a late game killer for anybody that's trying to hedge because it stops you from producing authority. So heads up play, late game mastery. Um, with Fremen, your allies, your siege alliances are gonna um, take away your authority production. So you have to cancel as much as you can. So I make it over in time to capture that village with 3 authority to spare while I'm at -1. If that's at 0, then I can't. If I let that authority go down a little bit further, then I will not be able to capture that, and boom. So then Smuggler comes in, good play by him to try to stop that. Masterful Fremen play, two-sided engagement, one with the army, one with the other half the army. I get a quest there from that fight as well because it was the operation active to get a quest. I wipe him, and I'm at 28-6. And this, like, why I chose this for late game mastery is because I'm at 28-6 when tax is going to hit in 4 days, right? And with my passive, I'm making 52 passive now. That means there is literally nothing they can do to stop me from winning this game. That's a masterful closeout. In the Fremen guide video, it wasn't so smooth because I was losing territories. Somebody had a win condition on the board that was like almost, completed. It was a Chone victory. But in this case, nothing they can do to stop my victory. Masterful closeout. Totally worthy of the late game mastery video. And yeah, this one, that was all she wrote. So the only thing left to do is look at the win banner and then boom. All right. Last example. Um, I don't remember this game at all. I just know that I'm behind by 2,000 hedge here. So we're going to go on a journey together and see what happens. I'm trying to DM the. Okay, so I'm DMing the Fremen and I'm like making a case. I'm like, get off my spice food. He's like, I will in a bit. It's kind of funny because he's gonna liberate it, right? And then he's gonna leave. So this guy's really, really funny. But I'm like, dude, I'm like behind. Like, why are you attacking me? I force choose him, and I'm just waiting for my army to recruit. He then he goes to betray me. There was a building. Like, if you're betraying on Fremen, you want to leave something to betray in that village. And yeah, so I force truce him. Like, now force truce is like an amazing ability. Not only does it buy you time, um, it will reset the counter for as long as you are truced if anybody was liberating or taking your villages, right? So in this case, if we look, I have is that 50 or 30? I think that's 30 intel production. I have a couple of operations cooked. So but I do need ceasefires. The Carino Kronos is hanging out in the middle of the map, being really menacing. I sent Duncan over there. So using the Force Truce, I was able to save my spice field, and I'm cooking 25. I don't have a large cook here, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I Force Truce somebody else. I don't remember why. It's probably because I have a territory up north in their territory that I peacefully annexed, I assume. We'll see here in a bit. And building, yep, and there it is, top left over there. So, I have 472 authority in the bank, and I'm right there in this hedge race, right? I don't see water regs come up. It's a bunch of chome resolutions. I have 23 chome, and I think what I do is I try to I'm not sure why I didn't vote up the sell Chome shares for hedge resolution. I think it's because Harkonnen was threatening Chome pretty good. He was at 30 something, and if I sell all my Chome, you have to be careful with that. If you sell all your Chome while to get hedge, somebody can buy that Chome up after the resolution is over if the game doesn't end to win the game out on Chome. Now my setup here, I'm looking just I haven't looked at this game in a long time. Is nice. I have 2 captures in the um, right in front of my main, so those are guaranteed. Fremen is all over me, and I don't understand why he doesn't target Carino, but you gotta. This is what it is with Dune. You just gotta deal with what you gotta deal with. Now with the Atreides, they have Atreides airfield, so they can fly around the map much faster than everybody else. And I defend my territory here. And what councils was I playing? I was through for Jessica. Okay, so looking good so far. There's a blank region to the west with a right to the west of the tile I'm landing in with a and I try to get. Sorry about that, guys. The headset likes to turn off when there's no music playing. It just thinks I'm doing nothing here. It has an auto shut off. So I go to liberate the which is also a siege tile, by the way. Atreides is one of those regions, one of those factions that gets benefit from capturing regions with sieges in it. I use a force truce to keep Fremen off of me. Sorry, a ceasefire. Jeez, I've made too many videos today. I can't even speak. Um, I made a ceasefire to keep a Fremen off of me. At this point, it looks like Carino's pretty far ahead, so I wonder how we're gonna bridge this gap. But yeah, so that's another tile that I'm gonna capture, spend some of my authority, of which, by the way, I'm making 14. It's a very large amount. I'm also capturing one of the neutrals near my main, and I have 280 left in the bank, so I definitely have enough for that one tile. I leave one unit to capture that region. I drop down whatever operations I have to fight the Fremen menace who will not leave me alone. Holy moly. I build up. Oh, this was a special tile. Wow. This was Worm's Nest. Okay. So I build that up right away because I have urban planning and I'm playing Atreides. I can build all of my slots out at once. Fremen got my airfield somehow. I force truce him. And while I'm force truced, man, that's such a masterful play. You have to do that so fast before the Fremen can betray. You have to force truce, build your airfield, and then Thufir that thing real quick so it starts building super fast. This guy is sleeping. He blinks. Boom. I get my airfield back, and I fly my entire stack, whatever's left of it. He's trying to get that airfield down. He's trying his best. He's not doing bad, but it's too late. I get the boys in there. Duncan's in there. His Fremen Raiders are coming in. They're annoying. I purchase units from the scavs that were laying around right there, so that's two more units. And I'm just in a race with Carino here, and I'm trying to close this out. And I have, guess what? I have one more tile that I'm capturing that's going to put me ahead of Carino. Not the cleanest win, but it is clean enough to get me ahead. Gearrex comes up. I want to avoid that. I will see if I'll be able to do that. I purchase more units on the map, getting whatever units I can. And let's see. Fast forward. Gearrex was made for everybody. It was declined. This last cat, I stopped the okay, look how what a sneaky goober I am. I actually don't capture that tile right away. I stopped the peaceful annex because tax is too far away. Late game mastery, man. What amazing stuff. I stopped that capture and I restart it. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it takes, off the top of my head, I think 3 or 4 days to peaceful. And if I'm clearly in the lead, I almost have a ceasefire ready to go too, which is super important for this part of the game. There's no smuggler in the lobby, so I don't want to capture that. I'm cooking the ceasefire. Beautiful stuff. I don't want to have that tile captured right away because I want it to seem like Carino is gonna win this game. But I mean, at this level, they should know, or I don't know what level this is. I don't know who these players are in this game, but they should know that. They should know that you're going to be able to peaceful that one tile left. So the Fremen coming in, trying. He's correctly assessing the situation that I'm ahead. Um, and I'm just looking at what I'm saying to this guy. It's so bad. Um, anyway, but yeah, I think I have enough cook here at my meager 41 cook to get it to tax with a ceasefire in my pocket. to make sure that I hold out here. Um, Fremen spawning units all over my my land now. And I think this game, we can just fast forward a little bit. Hark was going for a Chome victory, 40%. I was wondering what he was doing. Carino right there in the hedge race. But at 40%, he should still be attacking me. But it wouldn't matter because I would force truce him. He can't betray anyway if he cares about his win condition. 41%, getting close. I think this one comes down to the wire, actually, with the way the numbers work and for hedge. Because Carino, I know, is definitely going to be cooking more than 41. Um, yeah, 47%. This is like razor thin right now. I'm at 29.9, holding off, getting that capture before tax. There's the tax, and then the only thing that's left is to look at the victory banner because that's what we do. That's what this video is all about. So, just to wrap it up on late game mastery, have your intel operations, the large ones that you need to win it out. Have enough intel stack to make it over and over again, and make sure that you're cooking hedge. Make sure that you have outpost logistics for your authority production. Make sure you have 3 agents on Arrakis. Make sure you got your nuke handy and ready to go if you have the luxury of playing a faction that's able to get a nuke. You know, because the boys, we can't get one, but it's all good. We still win without it. We try. Um, I mean, that's really it. Make sure you're using decoy thumper as well. That's one thing that I didn't really showcase. I couldn't find the clips for that, but like decoy thumpers are really good at zoning your opponents, especially on tiles that are on the outskirts of deep deserts on the edges of the map with long sand runways. It makes it very difficult for somebody to run in to your territory to try to liberate you. Make sure you have good bunkers. Make sure you planned out your end game well. And yeah, and then you're good to go. And don't get assassinated. Always have agents on counter intel. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the late game mastery video. We have one video left in the series, which is going to be the final commentary on Dune Spice Wars done within our community after our previous cash prize tournament. You're going to hear some takes on how the game is, if it's great, if it's bad, if it's something in between. A lot of good takes in there. And I hope you guys are enjoying the series, and we hope to see you out there on Arrakis having fun and killing it in this game because you watched this guide and you became an amazing player. Thank you so much. We'll see you for the next video.